What does movement sound like? Moreover, what does it do to sound? This is not about the Doppler shift.
The apparent change in the frequency of a wave caused by relative motion between the source of the wave and the observer.
It is about the invisible trace left behind by an action or force which continues to circulate in the authentic essence and place in which it was manifest. It is about the effect that this current has on whatever it encounters, and the interplay that ensues upon contact. Rudolf Laban was a movement theorist interested in notating movement, much like a composer notates music in order for their pieces to be performed again and again. His theories are the foundation to modern dance improvisation and movement classes for actors, as well as work efficiency studies, management consultancy, and physiotherapy. He spoke of space specifically in terms of an area within reach of the body's extended limbs, which, when projected from all directions out from the bodily center, can be conceived as a totality of movement or a sphere of movement. According to John Hodgson in Mastering Movement, the life and work of Rudolf Laban, Laban's background as a classically trained artist gave him an eye for dimension and framed his perception through geometric shapes, lines, and planes. He used the Platonic solids as representation of the space that the body would inhabit around itself in all possible positions and directions at once, a scaffolding for the architecture of movement. The tetrahedron contains all Platonic solids within it and thus represents all possibilities. With this in mind, I've been working on a Laban cube, a virtual space that translates movement into these moods in real time. They can be both seen and or heard. The concept of equal opposites is used for balance along the x, y, and z axes. On the y-axis, we go between up, which represents lightness and height, and down, strong or low. The z-axis represents forward and backwards, which polarizes the sudden and the sustained. Finally, on the x-axis, we go between narrowing or inward and widening or outward, which transitions between a dry and centered focus and a more spatialized presence. I've been experimenting with trace movements and their effect upon different sounds, such as my voice. Here, as I sang, I also danced in a space with my body virtually mapped to the Laban cube. OSC was sent to my DAW and was recorded as automation. The changes heard in the sound of my voice are produced by movement. I'm currently using this method as a compositional tool as well as an interactive live performance practice. In the harmonic structure of movement, music, and dance, Carol Lynn Moore explains, the intention to move begins in what may be termed as psychological space. Laban called this psychological space the dynamosphere. It is the inner world in which impulses surge and seek an outlet in doing, acting, and dancing, the domain where movement from mood to mood occurs. As we go from movement to movement, posture to posture, gesture to gesture, the flow gives way to lasting dynamics that affect whatever gets caught up in it. It's swept into the current of emotion, a ripple effect of what once was, a phantom of phase, evidence of the elapsed, extant in the ether, movement as memory.